Thanks, Addie Kai. My name is Tina, as you know, and I would like, as Addie Kai said, I'd like to speak on behalf of my brothers and sisters about my parents and what it was like growing up with them and being one of 10 children. Now, my parents always spoke to us in Tagalog, so I actually do understand, but I don't speak it very well, so this will be in English. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the second oldest out of the 10, and being one of the oldest, I was always in charge of looking after the younger ones, and was kind of in charge of the cleaning at home while we were growing up. My brothers say that I'm famous for playing the guitar like a violin and saying, "Come here, right now." I'm sure it's been worse previously. Anyway, enough about me. As a child, I did not know my mother's name. She was Mum. Nowadays I call her Mother. I think it was Peter who thought that her name was Rooster. In keeping with the animal theme, when I was little I thought that my father's name was Bear, as in Yogi Bear and Humphrey Bear, as that is what my mum called him. I found out later that it was actually V-E-R, Bear, the nickname short for Vergara that my mum had given him when they were first first going out. By the way, my dad is also known by a few synonyms: Jose, Joe, Pepe, or sometimes he signs off his email as D-U-D, Done. Jose and Rusty, Regina Carmeli College in the Philippines in Bulacan, and so the oldest, one of the MCs, Maria Carmela, was named after where they both studied. I, by the way, was named after a Filipina actress, Maria Cristina. Back to the early days of Jose and Rustica. Those were the days of young love, innocent, longing for each other. And how do I know this? From the many love letters that my parents still have. I think they're stored in the roof at the moment in a bag. My father's letters would start with, they would call Mother Lil Dal, as she's short, as you know, as we all are. Although we never actually heard them say this out loud. The love letters were very romantic, and you could tell that they were very much in love. Jose also kept a journal or a diary in which he wrote about one time that he was with my mum, and he was speaking, my mum was actually speaking to a priest at the time, and I think that the priest was holding her hand, and what happened, Dad? Do you remember? No, you weren't angry, but you were so overcome with jealousy that you had to leave the room. And Rusty said that, this was when I was younger, she said that she was attracted to my father because he was studious and he looked like a nerd. Growing up in a big family also has some notoriety associated with it. These days, growing up in a big family is not so common. When a friend of my mum asked her why she had so many children, she replied in Edmund Hillary style that, "Because I can." You might know that my parents are very religious. "More Catholic than the Pope" was one of Jose's favourite sayings, and I'm sure later you will hear more of how Jose almost became a priest before he was asked to leave. Of course, being Catholic, you're not allowed to use contraception. When I was in grade 3, I remember my mum filling out these charts with dates, and it was like a grid, and she had a different sticker for each whatever it was. I'm not sure. But they also had this book in the house, and it was called the Billings Method. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the Billings Method, but it was approved by the Catholic Church, and I guess I don't need to say that it didn't really work in this case. Alright, back to being very Catholic. We used to pray as a family every night, and my mum would say, let's pray, and we'll just pray the Angelus. It will be just a few minutes, and then just when we finish the Angelus, we'd try to hurry up and make the sign of the cross so that we would finish up. But Mother would always start with, Hail Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, and we knew that we were in it for the Rosary. I have two children now, Johnny and Serena, who sang before, and Brian is over there, my husband. And it's only as an adult and having children that I have come to appreciate what my parents have achieved in the last 40 years. Actually, this is before I met Brian, but when I was 18, I was in the Philippines, and my mum was telling a Filipino friend of hers how the first 5 years of being in Australia were very hard. But she was also telling her that she would not go back to the Philippines to live, as Australia was her home, and all of her families and close friends were in Australia. And it was only then that I realised how brave they were. They were young, in their 20s, with 3 very young children, and they moved to a new country where they did not know they knew a few people, but they did not have any family, they did not have any friends, and they had left all of their family behind in the Philippines. I had never thought of my parents as being lonely, because as far as I was concerned, that growing up, wherever they were, that's where home was, even though we had moved around a few times. So I appreciate their sacrifices. One of them was they put all of us, the 10 of us, through Catholic education. I remember my mum sewing. She sewed all of our uniforms and a lot of our clothes when we were younger. Adikai used to get the dress. She was always first, and I always got the leftovers, usually a skirt or something like that. But I do remember Mother, she was sewed, and one time she was sewing something for me, a dress, and I remember staying up with her late as she finished a dress for me. We also grew up with many books around the house, and my dad's textbooks at school, I used to write in the blank pages or rip out the blank pages of the textbooks. Sorry about that, Dad. And we love to read. Anyway, I've only got 5 minutes, and I was supposed to only have 5 minutes, and I know that I cannot do Jose and Rusty justice in just a short speech. Can I just say that, where are you going, Father? You're going to have a drink? You never drink. Okay. First of all, I was just going to say that I'm so glad that you met, and to use one of Jose's favourite phrases, that was good thinking, 99. So, on behalf of all of your children-in-law, and I'll make a special mention to Toby, husband of Michelle, who is in New York making a name for himself, and on behalf of your grandchildren, I just want to say thank you to all of you that are here tonight for coming here and for helping my brothers and sisters and myself celebrate, and for being a part of our parents' lives. So to Mum and Dad, we love you, we thank you, we ask God to bless you. Thank you for everything that you have given us and for making us what we are. So congratulations on 40 years together.
Thank you, Tina, and thank you for your lovely assistant, Michelle.